are listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Hey, it's me again with another episode. You asked for it. I get a lot of emails from people saying, please, more podcast episodes, please. And I don't normally like to record unless I feel like I've got something helpful to share, and I'm not sure that's the case today. Probably isn't, but y'all didn't seem to mind that other episode I did about the amazing Harvey, who I didn't really have a big point on that episode either, but y'all liked it anyway. So I thought I should just record more. I should do what you asked and record more episodes. So here we are, because I kind of got just a little follow-up from that episode that had no point. It did have sort of a point. I was talking about how much I rave about my dog, how much I love him so dearly. Oh, guess who has a new Instagram account? Harvey does. It's Pause for the Harvmeister on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram, so I will probably never see it. A fabulous fellow creator is running it for us. I think that's adorable. Yeah, so Harvey's on Pause for the Harvmeister. 4 is number 4 on Instagram. Okay, anyway, I had been raving about him, and I was talking about how much, okay, you already heard that episode. You don't need to hear it again. So, about that trail that we were on, where I was raving about his trail etiquette, that's, okay, like, that was my favorite trail. That was my absolute most favorite trail. And it's a little bit further away. I might have mentioned it's like a 20-minute drive instead of the closer ones. There are several ones closer to us, like 7 minutes and 8 minutes. There's a lot of trails nearby. Oh, I live in the most amazing place. But that one, even though it's a little bit further drive, it's worth it because it's a stunning trail. In fact, when I walk it, whether I'm by myself or with someone else, I just tally up why this is the best possible trail. This is the most amazing trail, and I point out why. I do it to myself every time I'm on it. I just tally up, wow, this trail is so amazing, and I say why. And if I'm walking with someone else, I tell them out loud why. It's like the perfect trail. And when I say perfect trail, I mean, I don't see how it could be improved on. Here's why. Because and I know some people like trails different, but this is how I like trails. First of all, it's all dirt. Okay, it's not gravel, it's dirt. And it's got lots of vegetation, tall trees, shade. Hello, I live in the desert. I'm in Utah in the desert. Shade. And it's got beautiful trees, not just trees, beautiful trees, quakies, pine trees, and it's got wildflowers. Not just, look, even weeds are pretty. The noxious weeds around here are still really pretty, but okay, not only the shade, the trail, and how it turns even at meanders. So you aren't just looking at a long straight trail. Like, it's a different scene it's amazing. The water, it's got 2 ponds, one little pond, one bigger pond. And we don't even walk that far, and we cross 4 or 5 different creeks, so there's water all over the place. It's so cool. It's a really, really, really cool trail. And it's cool. It could be hot in other places. It's cool up here. It's stunning. It just doesn't get any better. I figured this is the perfect trail. This is absolute. It couldn't get any better than this, and I'm reveling in it. Every time we're on it, I'm like, wow, we're on the best trail, and I'm loving the trail up. Out loud to if we even stop it. Okay, so we did. We were passing a guy who had 2 little kids with him, and as we passed, I can't remember what we said, but everyone I pass, I'm like, oh my gosh, isn't this place amazing? I'm just raving about it to everyone that we pass. And he said, it's his first time being on it. And the reason why he's here is because at the other trailhead, and he kind of hesitated to say it. And I was like, oh, juicy. Something he's trying not to say. But he did say it. And what he said was that they went to the other trailhead that he normally goes to, but the parking lot was full and there was a lot of police activity. And they were apparently searching cars or something. That's what he said. And I said, "Ooh, how exciting." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm glad we missed that excitement." He said, "That's why we're here." So this was his first time on this trail. And when he said, when he was talking about the other trail, he gestured to the north. And I was not sure what trail he meant. I was curious. Anyway, so I keep walking. He goes, and I didn't ask because he's got little kids and they probably didn't want to stop and chat that much. And I'm not that great about asking strangers things, but as I was walking further, I thought, I wonder what trail could he be talking about? What's the other trail to the north? He was gesturing. What could he possibly mean? I didn't know. And then on my way, somewhere just a few minutes later, I passed, two fabulous guys. Oh, my word, do I want to be friends with those guys. I don't know, you meet someone and you don't know them at all, but you just know you would love them. Yeah, both of these guys, that's how I felt about them. They were in matching neon green shirts, and they both had walking canes. Like, these guys looked like they knew what they were doing. Really, really liked them. Okay, we just saying friendly hello, great day, isn't it amazing up here? And they were in agreement. And somehow I said, we just started chatting. Oh, they probably said something fabulous about Harvey, or else I was raving about his trail etiquette. Oh gosh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm talking to the fabulous guys, and I said, "Hey, I got a question for you." And they stopped. They stopped and took up position. Like, we weren't just having a little friendly pass by each other. They stopped like, "Oh, we're going to have a conversation." They were investing in this conversation. They were, it was just lovely. It was just lovely. And I said, I passed a guy earlier who said that it was his first time on the trail, and he was talking about the other trail, and he gestured this way, and I gestured the way the guy did to the north. And I said, "What trail could he be talking about?" And they looked at each other, and they said, they compared a few notes, and they said what they thought it was. And they told me, and I had never been there, and they said, well, and they knew I loved this trail because I'd been raving. They could tell I loved this trail. And they said this: "If you like this trail, you need to go do this other one." And I was like, "Really?" And I'm being mostly polite because I'm thinking they don't understand. I'm already on my favorite trail. It doesn't get any better than this. But they were both of the same opinion that this other trail was even better. And I was like, I don't know what their idea of a fabulous trail is, but we must have different ideas because I'm already on the best possible trail. For a person who likes a trail the way I like it, with the shade and the water and the vegetation and all the curves and on the dirt, and it's so quiet, you can't hear any traffic. You feel so far away. I was like, they don't know. They must have a different taste in trails than I do. They were insistent, and they wouldn't elaborate, like they wouldn't give details, but they were just like, "Oh yeah." They were pretty adamant that I would like this other trail even better. I was like, well, that's so sweet of them to think so. And I was polite, and we finished our conversation. I thanked them, and we parted ways. And then today, it was this morning, I said to Harvey, "Let's go for a walk." Oh, he's still sleeping. It's okay. And he's right here. Did I tell you that? So we drove. We're driving to my favorite trail, the faraway one, 20 minutes. And on the way there, I was thinking about those guys raving about that other trail. And I was feeling just a little adventurous, and Harvey was too, so we decided we'd go see if we could find what they were talking about. And I did not get specific directions, and I'm not great with directions, so I didn't have high confidence, but I just thought we'd see. So we drove to where they said I should, and it's not that hard for me to get lost somewhere, but it worked out. Like, I was following the right signs and going to the right place, and sure enough, I'm at a trailhead. And there were a lot of cars there, so I thought I'm probably in the right place. Even though it's a weekday morning, there were still a lot of cars there. I guess no one goes to work anymore, or they keep their own hours because they work from home. I don't know, or maybe it was always this busy. I don't know. So we parked, we started walking, and it was pretty clear right off the bat, this was a pretty special place. Like right off the beginning, I was like, okay, all right, maybe they did know what they were talking about. But it was really wide. It was wide enough for a car. I was thinking about you because we were walking down, okay, so there were a lot of cars in the trailhead, but we weren't seeing anyone. It was just us. Wide road, like for a car, and really pretty. It was really, really, really pretty. We were there pretty early in the morning, so the sun wasn't up very high, and it was just coming over this meadow and the mountains. It was really pretty. I'm going to say maybe those guys were steering me right. That's what I was thinking. So we're walking along this road, and it's nice and wide, and I thought of all the friends I've been on trails with where we have to go single file, and I thought, oh, they might like this because we could be side by side on this trail. And as we were walking, ways away, here comes a biker, and he's coming by, and Harvey was way ahead because even though it's a new trail, he's not afraid. He's way ahead, and as soon as he sees the biker, guess what he does? You know what he does, don't you? He turned around and he looked at me because we're on it's a nice big path, but he turned around still to look at me for direction. How do you like that? That's my Harvmeister, turning to look at me for direction. And I just was beaming. I couldn't smile any bigger because I was so proud of him for turning. Like he knew it was a different routine. It's a different trail. It's a bigger trail. Biker coming, Mom. What do we do? And I called him over, and he ran right over to me, and he stepped off the trail, even though there was plenty of room. And as the biker went by, I was just smiling so big. Such my good dog. Okay, then we were walking a little further, and then there was water on this trail. It was more of a trail. It's still a road at this point. There was water on it, though, and I was like, dang, it's July, and there's still water up here. That was I liked it. And it wasn't just it was like bigger water. I liked it. I don't know how the bikers feel about it, but I liked it. Harvey did too. We walk a little further along this, and then it turned, so there's a fork, and just followed my gut, and we went to the right. And almost immediately, I realized, this is gonna be an amazing trail. I'm trying to say, okay, we walked a little bit further, and maybe made one more fork before we came around a bend, and what I saw, I literally stopped in my tracks. Literally, I stopped dead in my tracks, dead. It's actually what I felt like. I felt like I was in heaven. This is what I imagined it was going to be like when I go to heaven and get reunited with all the dogs. This is what I imagine when I imagine my dogs in heaven. This is what I imagine. It looked like it was straight from my scene of heaven. I stopped in my tracks and I swore out loud. I'm not saying it right here, what I said, but I swore out loud because it was stunningly gorgeous. It was so pretty. It was just like I didn't think it could get any better than my other trail. And those two fabulous guys who had said, if you like this trail, you should go check out this other one. Oh my word, they were right. Oh gosh. So I'm going to tell you a couple things about this trail, but I won't make it won't go into long detail, although I could. But one of my favorite things about this trail, okay, first of all, it just kept getting better. It started out pretty cool. It turns out that wide part, that's the worst part of the trail. That's the ugly part of the trail. How do you like that? It just got even better the further we went. And we went pretty far because who wants to leave heaven? Because who really does? Okay, so there's this, it's got the canopies, it's got the trees, and it's like so much tree canopy that we were in shade. Like there wasn't much sun. You could see some blue sky through a little bit. You could see a little bit of the sky, but it was it was dark enough. And I don't mean to make it sound creepy, but it was kind of dark. Again, it was morning. The sun was shining. The sky was bright. But on this trail, there was so much shade that these wildflowers that were in bloom, they had really... So they were narrow. They grew up tall, but then they opened up. They had really fine stems. I'm not describing them very well. They had really fine stems and little bursts of yellow flowers. So like one plant would have, several dozen of these little teeny yellow flowers that were on such fine stems. They didn't look like they were on stems. When you just looked around, it looked like all these little flowers were suspended in midair. They didn't even look like they were attached to anything because of the light. It was a trick of the light, and the stems were so fine. And those flowers had, they were teeny. They were miniature. They were so small. Like, I counted, one had 16 petals and one had 17 petals of just little, they were so pretty. Yellow flowers. It looked like fireworks in the forest. That's what it looked like. It looked like fireworks in the forest. Just these, it was amazing. Okay. So amazing. I'm walking on this trail. And Harvey is being so good. Yep, I'm talking about you, buddy. Yes, I am. He was being so good. I'll stop telling you about that. You know how good he is, and you know how much I love him. But as I'm on this trail, and I'm thinking, like, this is my idea of heaven. When I was little, when I was really young, and we lived not too far out of the city, there was a field where horses sometimes were, and there was a big tree out there. It was just a bunch of grass and a big tree. But in our neighborhood, it stood out. And I used to imagine that if I ever ran away from home, that's where I would live. I would live under that tree. That's where I imagined I would be. I actually told my mom one day, I said, if I ever want to run away from home, this is where I'm going to live. Okay, I was thinking about this place. This was like, how is a person ever going to leave here? How is a person going to get back in their car after being here? It was just amazing. And I asked myself, how I thought I was already on the best possible trail. I didn't think it could get any better. How could it get any better? But we know how it could get better. We know how it could get better. This is what happens when we appreciate. It appreciates. It grows. It gets even better. It's what it does. That's been my theme word for like 2 years in a row now, even better, because I'm a big fan of how that works. I thought I was on the best possible trail. The guys said, oh, if you like this, try the other one. I was like, whatever, Miss Skeptical. Oh my gosh, they were so right. They were so right. And as I was like walking in what looked like my version of heaven, I asked myself, how did I get here? How did I get here? And I was thinking about where I came from, not just the other trail that I came from, not just the house we drove from, but where I came from in life to be here. And I know this is how it works over and over and over again. When we love something, it can't help but get better. It cannot help but get better. It keeps doing that over and over and over. I think this might be the secret to some couples' marriage, like some people who are happily married for a long time, and when they talk about how it just keeps getting better, I imagine they just found a way to really love what they had going on, and so it did. That love just kept growing. I have not experienced in that area of my life, but I have experienced it at work where my clients keep getting better. I've experienced it in my houses. Remember that house? My first house that I had was the very first house I bought. I loved it so much that I knew I would never leave it. I knew I would never leave it. I could see myself as like this 90-year-old woman living in this house, and everyone would know me as a person who's been here forever. Because I loved not just the house, but the neighborhood too. I loved the neighbors. I mean, I loved everything about it. I knew I would never leave. I would never leave. Until that day that I had a boyfriend who he wanted to live together. And I was pretty surprised when I checked in with my guidance. He wanted to buy a new place because he didn't want to just live at my place, and he lived in a condo. I wasn't moving to his place. I was pretty surprised when my guidance was a green light for moving in together, for buying a place together. I would have let him live at my place, but he didn't want to live there. I was so surprised when I was green lighted to move because I loved that place. But I didn't sell it because I figured I'd be back someday. And we bought a place together, and I loved that place even more. I sound like you, hearing the story, you might think she's just really easy to please. I am not. I am not. But I am a good appreciator. So that house that we lived in together, I loved that house so much that when that relationship was done, and I do mean capital D done, not even we're friends, and because I've done that before. Like, I had a live-in boyfriend at my other house for a while. For 3 years, he was my boyfriend, and then he wasn't. And we still lived together for 3 years as best friends. He's still my best friend to this day. I love him dearly. I know how to live in a house with someone that isn't a love interest, but that's not what I was doing with this guy. It wasn't friendly. But I wasn't leaving because I loved that house so much. I wouldn't leave that house, and he wasn't leaving. So I was like, well, I'll wait him out because I don't care. I don't need to date. I love this house. I'm not leaving it. Well, a couple years into it, I finally realized I got to leave that house because he really isn't going. So I did leave that house. And you've heard my story about how I was trying to just buy something else in the same area, like trying to even just do something that's sort of as good. And so I was just trying to do as similar as I could because I loved it so much, but it just wasn't working out. So when that one didn't work out, that was kind of in the neighborhood, I made an offer on something that was in the nearby canyon where Harvey and I used to drive to walk. And I made an offer on that place, and that didn't work out. And so everything that didn't work out, then I was like, this is the place where I always dreamed I would end up. I looked up in that area. It was near where I went to school, to college, and that place didn't work out. Finally, I checked this area. This is where one of my best friend, who told me, whatever you do, don't buy anything up. This is where I'm at right now. He said, because the canyons are terrible in winter. Well, I don't drive. I don't commute. What do I care? I'll get snowed in. Who cares? Anyway, so I decided to look up here, found this place. Forget about how amazing this place is. It's just, of course, I believe it. How is it? I know it only gets better. I know it does. It seems impossible, though. How could it get any better than what I'm doing right now? Because it's pretty amazing. It's what it keeps doing. When we appreciate something, it keeps doing it. I have clients who sometimes balk when I tell them that the best way to achieve what you want with your body, whether it's weight loss or improving their health in some way, I tell them, just start loving up on your body, because magic happens. If you could love up on your body, but especially women who are interested in weight loss, that's a big ask. When you ask them to love the body that they think needs to change, they do not understand the magic of loving something. Because when you love something, guess what? It has to get even better. It's what it does. It's how it works. It's how it works in every area. But they get nervous because when I ask them to appreciate their body as is, they're afraid they're going to be stuck with it forever. And I'm like, first of all, if you really appreciated it, you wouldn't be stuck with it. If you appreciated it, you'd be loving it. And that would be a big win. That's when you're really genuinely appreciating something, you don't need it to change. And it does, because it just keeps getting even better when you dare to listen to the two guys who answered your question about where that new trail might be. Wow. It was stunning. I did not take my phone with me. I will next time, so I can get some pictures on Harvey's new Instagram account. But in the meantime, I would love it if we all remembered the power of appreciating something. I didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't like I needed a new trail, but life just keeps naturally getting better in all the areas where I rave about it. So it kind of makes me want to rave about it in some of the other areas where the raves don't come so naturally. But raves do come naturally to me. That's the story I'm going to tell as I bring it to those other areas. All right. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.